I've been
Salve,
there.
salve, Dirty Birds! E aí, fã da NFL? Estamos aqui com mais um episódio do Falcons Play Action. Vamos falar hoje com o Luke, Lockton Bama. Vamos falar sobre Jase McClellan, running back que draftamos na sexta rodada, pick 184. Luke, once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for being on the podcast. What can you say about Jase McClellan? What are the Falcons getting in that running back?
I think, first of all, thanks for having me. I appreciate that so much. And I think it's awesome that you guys have a podcast about the Falcons and the NFL in Brazil. That's amazing. And I'm so glad to see the NFL and the Falcons have that kind of reach. I really do enjoy it. The NFL is a lot of fun for me. I don't have a team that I pull for specifically, but I just love pulling for Alabama guys in the league. And one of the new Alabama guys is Jase McClellan at the Falcons. I think what you guys are getting is a very hard worker, a guy that comes from a great family life. He originally is from Texas. And he at Alabama was solid, not spectacular. He was solid. And I think that's fine. There's a great spot in the NFL for that. There's not a lot of what I would consider to be spectacular running backs in the NFL. That's just not the position that has a lot of quite as much excitement as it did in the past, right? I think now what you want is an NFL running back. Sure, you want them to be able to catch the ball, and you'd love them to go 80 yards on a carry. But what you really want is to get 3.5, 4 yards and just keep the defense honest. And I definitely think Jase McClellan fits that bill. I think Jase McClellan is the kind of guy who's going to be active in your community. I think he's going to be a good teammate. He is fine not being the man. I mean, Alabama ran sort of a platoon system at running back with Jase McClellan. And, due to some injuries, he didn't get to play in a few games that I wish he had been available in. But he is the kind of guy that's not going to get angry if he doesn't get X amount of carries or pout or anything like that. He's a good dude. He has the ability to take it 80 yards. He did that against Texas in 2022. But for the most part, I think he was just incredibly dependable and solid. That's what I would consider him to be. He's not in the same realm as a Mark Ingram or a Derrick Henry or a Trent Richardson or a Najee Harris that Alabama's had. He's not one of those running backs, but he's the next tier down, which is still very, very good.
So how do you think he fits on that kind of Sean McVay, our new offensive coordinator, came from the Rams coaching staff? It's his first time calling plays. We're kind of worried about it, but how do you see him fitting the scheme?
Yeah, I think he'll fit in any scheme. He's very versatile. He has had years where he's had 200 or so yards receiving at Alabama. He is the kind of guy that blocks very well. He can, like I said, he's fine on screen plays. He is caught. Boy, he came so close to having a spectacular wheel route caught against Texas last year, but Jalen Milroe overthrew him. And the route was great. It just was an overthrown ball. But what it did was give you a peek at what kind of route he can run if he's called upon to do that. He also is very dependable and with the ball, so he's not going to fumble a lot. I think he can do anything that he's called upon to do. At the same time, he's not going to wow you with any singular play. Now, again, I mentioned he went 80 yards against Texas, but those kind of things were few and far between. He was mostly just rock solid. And he, again, has played in limelight before. If you play for Alabama, you're going to get to play on national TV a lot. You're going to be in primetime a lot. And what is the NFL? Every game in the NFL is primetime. Every game is a big deal. And I think that he is going to be very used to that. It's not going to be something that's going to catch him off guard. He's also played in the SEC, which is the best college football conference there is. Once again, the SEC had the most players drafted in the NFL by a long shot. So what it means is Jase McClellan has gone up against the best of the best, not only in the SEC, but in practice with Alabama, a bunch of other NFL dudes. So he's going to be more ready than somebody, say, who comes from the Mountain West and isn't quite as used to playing that level of competition every single day where you get beat up. I think you're going to love him. I think he's going to be, again, a great teammate, a good person, and active in the community. And he's not going to be somebody that complains when he doesn't get X amount of carries. And you're going to find out he's a really solid number 2 option, I think, ultimately. Now, can he be a number 1 in the NFL? I certainly think he can. Will he be, a top 10 running back in the NFL ever? I doubt it in any given season. But I think that's not necessarily why you drafted him. You have Bijan Robinson, who's awesome. So I don't think you necessarily need him to do that. What you need him to do is come in and definitely don't cost your team anything, but just get what you can. And I think he can even give you a little more than that.
That's great, man. We hope to talk. I was hoping to talk about other Bama prospects at number 8, maybe a trade down, Dallas Turner, Terry Arnold. We needed that. I just want a quick. What did the Falcons pass up on Dallas Turner? What are we missing?
Yeah, you're missing another good dude. Look, I'm going to tell you this. I will brag on Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner is the kind of guy, if you're familiar with college football now, there's NIL. So college players are getting paid. They're getting paid for their name, image, and likeness, right? And so what do you do when you're in college and you get a bunch of money? You blow it on various things. As the old joke goes, I spent all my money on women and liquor, and then I just threw the rest away. That's kind of what you do when you're in college, right? That's what I would.
Good one.
But Dallas Turner comes from a family where his dad is a wealth manager. And so Dallas Turner, the first thing he did is start investing all his NIL money. That's the kind of guy he is. He's not thinking about, let me go buy the flashiest car, the flashiest suit, and go to the best restaurants. He's like, I'm going to take this money and I'm going to start investing it and start building my future. That's how smart he is. He's also incredibly fast. He's a quick twitch guy. The Vikings got the steal of the draft, if you ask me, getting him at 17. That's just crazy that he lasted that long. Super fast, super lengthy, mean at the point of attack, and also can drop into coverage if he had to. Just a lot of positives. He's very instinctual. But I'll tell you the one thing and you brought it up. I don't think anybody had him mocked this high, but Terrion Arnold. I'm going to tell you, Terrion Arnold is in my top 5 favorite Alabama players of all time. And it's not necessarily for what he did on the field, although he played very well. I had the pleasure of meeting him, and I met him over Christmas before the national championship semifinal game. And he took time out of his day to spend 15 minutes talking to me. He didn't know me from Adam's house cat. And we happened to be at the same event. And he explained to me, there was a highlight of the Alabama-Georgia game from the SEC title game. And in the middle of our conversation, he sort of stopped and said, let me show you what we did here defensively. And he broke down the whole defense. And he said, you see right there, that's why Georgia got 10 yards, because this guy lost his containment. And if you're just a casual fan, you never would have noticed that. But how many times has a player ever stopped to, unprompted, just tell you what's going on just so you know more? He is an incredible ambassador for the University of Alabama. He was Nick Saban's wife, Ms. Terry. It was her favorite player of all time, probably. They had a tremendous relationship, and just an awesome guy. Detroit got another steal, but I would have loved to have seen him at the Falcons. I think you guys would have adored him. But really, Jase McClellan is in that same area code. I mean, he's just a good dude. Now, he's not quite as vivacious and maybe not quite as in the public eye as Terrion was, or quite as approachable to the media, et cetera. But he's a good dude, and I think you guys are going to love him. You couldn't have gone wrong with any of those guys.
Yeah, we can never go wrong with a Nick Saban coach player. Am I right?
That's absolutely correct. Yes, sir.
And I think you guys are gonna miss him way more than we do. But I'm gonna miss Nick Saban. He's the GOAT. No questions asked. Whoever disagrees can just shut up. And
I like the way you think.
I hope the bowler feels the hole. I hope he does well. Pressure will be immeasurable, but I think Alabama is Alabama. The tide will continue to roll.
Yes, sir. There you go.
Luke, how can we find you on social media, podcast, YouTube? What are your tags?
Anywhere you get your podcast, please do go to YouTube and subscribe. Locked on Bama. You can find us on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts, Amazon. And then my Twitter handle is at LSRobinson21. So would love to have you follow me as well. And I appreciate the opportunity.
Pleasure is ours. Thank you for taking your time to talk with us. It's great for us to talk with someone boots on the ground in college football about prospects. And that's it, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Go Falcons.
Roll Tide.